All right guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is finally here. I got my ProTee VX overhead launch monitor installed just a few hours ago, got everything set up, even played GSPro. Everything's working as expected, so super excited about this one. If you did not see the video, I actually won this launch monitor at the ProTee booth at the PGA show. I had closest to the pin on one of their holes that they had set up in their booth over the 2.5, 3 day show, and I won the launch monitor. So I got it shipped to myself, got it all set up. If you watch the channel, you know that I've got a bunch of launch monitors that I review and make content with, but this is my first overhead launch monitor. So hopefully this video will give you guys a better idea of what to expect when you first get your ProTee VX, or if you're just kind of researching and trying to decide what launch monitor you want to go with, maybe this will give you a better idea of what the ProTee VX is like. Let's get straight into the unboxing. Inside the box, you'll see that it's got a super nice, well-packaged custom foam with the logo on it. It's always a good sign whenever you see that a company takes care of the packaging, and they definitely do. Then you've got the ProTee VX launch monitor itself. You've got a box in there that's gonna have a Cat6 Ethernet cable that is 32 feet long. You've got a USB to Ethernet adapter, so you can use a USB port for the Ethernet cable in case you're already using your Ethernet port. They've got a camera calibration plate and a bubble level to make sure that that calibration plate is level when you use it. You've got a power cord. So all of that is in the box. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy. There were a couple things with the unboxing that I had questions about. First being the mounting hardware that was supplied. It's 4 screws, and they provide 4 plugs or anchors if you need them. I ended up needing those because where the ProTee VX needed to be installed was right in between 2 studs. I couldn't really stretch it either way, so I was not able to hit a stud, so I used all 4 of those anchors, and I was not sure of the drill size or the drill bit size to drill for those anchors. I was able to just look at the anchor, identify it, Google it, and it was pretty easy to find out. It is a 5/16 drill bit that you need for those anchors. The other question I had was with that mounting plate. I kind of practiced putting it on and taking it off with the launch monitor on the ground, and it seemed to have a little bit of a tolerance to it, a little bit of a wiggle between the mounting plate and the launch monitor, and I was just kind of wondering how that was going to work whenever it's on the ceiling. My attic is right above. I don't know if when I'm walking or anything, I might wiggle the launch monitor. I can say now that it's installed, I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. The ProTee VX is not lightweight, I would say. It's not crazy heavy, but it's got some weight to it. Now that it's mounted on the ceiling, I don't think it's going to budge at all. Then the box itself, it's got a QR code and a link straight to the setup instructions, which were very straightforward. Pretty much starting off, you've got a mounting plate to your ceiling. They provide the maximum and minimum kind of space requirements. You need either somewhere between a 10-foot ceiling and a 9-foot ceiling. And in my case, I have a 10-foot ceiling, so I just used the distance for that, which was 3 feet 7 inches from the middle of my hitting insert. Took the middle of my hitting insert, put a piece of tape there. I measured out 3 feet 7 inches towards the screen, put a piece of tape there, and I wanted the center of the mounting plate directly over that piece of tape. So I got up there on the ladder, and I actually had some string, so I just placed a string on the ceiling, let it fall down right over that piece of tape, and then marked where that was. Don't know if that's totally necessary, but that's the way I did it. Then, like I said, I pre-drilled the holes for all those anchors, put the anchors in, and then mounted the plate with the screws to the ceiling. So pretty straightforward stuff. I was very kind of concerned if I was going to get the alignment exactly square to the hitting insert and all of that. I did my best. I did stick a laser level up in the corner of this ceiling and turned it 90 degrees so it'd be straight across the room, and tried to align the mounting plate with that, but ultimately it was just kind of a help me double check. I don't know that it would have been super accurate either way. And by the time I was done, I kind of got the feeling that if you just get it generally correct, you're gonna be fine, because you do have the calibration plate that you're gonna use on the ground. Obviously don't get it super wonky or anything like that, but I did my best and mounted the plate as square as I could, directly 3 feet 7 inches forward of the center of my hitting mat. The 9-foot ceiling option, I think you had to go 3 feet 4 inches in front of the hitting insert. So if you're somewhere between 9 and 10 feet, you pretty much just have to judge between 3 feet 4 inches and 3 feet 7 inches. So I don't think it's that exact, but you know, my ceiling's 10 feet, so just went with that. Now, to mount the launch monitor to the mounting bracket, you pretty much just stick it up there in the right spot and slide it over until there's a little catch knob that clicks. And they strongly advise that you do it with 2 people. I did it by myself. Everything I've done in this simulator, I've had to do myself. I hate having to wait and ask for help, and so I figured I would just go for it. After doing it, I would tell you, get a second pair of hands. It's not easy. The launch monitor itself is a little bit, it's got a kind of a funny weight to it. It kind of wants to tip forward. It's not like evenly weighted, I don't think. And so being at the top of the ladder with about a 30-pound launch monitor that kind of doesn't sit in your arms real well, and then trying to put it over my head, it was tough. And I almost gave up. I got to the point where I was like, okay, one more try, and if not, I'm just waiting for some help. But I got it on that try and locked the pin in, and it's set. After that, I would just say, wait for a second set of hands. You don't want to drop that thing. From there, you've got the power cord and the Ethernet cord that you've got to connect. In my case, the power cord was going to go over to the right. I've got an outlet down there on the right side. It's the closest one. The power cord is not super long. I didn't measure it, but it might be 5 feet, something like that. So if you need to run power farther than that, plan to have an extension cord or whatever ready. So hopefully that helps and you have to run to the hardware store. I ran the power cord over to the corner of the ceiling, then got an extension cord to get the rest of the way down to my outlet. That was no big deal. The Ethernet cord I had to run farther, comes all the way over here to my computer, down the ceiling, down the wall to my computer. I ended up having plenty of length with that. They provided I think it was 32 feet, no problem there. And then I am using the USB adapter and using one of the USB ports on my PC because I already have my internet connection hardwired into the Ethernet on my PC. Everything I needed was provided, aside from an extension cord. I did have to grab one of those for the power. So once I got everything plugged in, turned on, mounted, then I continued to follow the instructions and download the ProTee software, which was super easy, super quick. Opened it up. It does ask for an activation key once you open it up for the first time. It says that the activation key should be supplied by the reseller that you bought it from. Now, because of my situation, I didn't buy it. I didn't have an activation key. So I had to email ProTee support and ask what to do. I ended up doing this at the very end of the day for me. I'm on Central Standard Time, emailed them. ProTee is in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, I believe. Got an email back overnight. Actually, they needed my serial number. Gave them my serial number, and then they responded right away with an activation key, and I got into the software. From that point on, the next thing you got to do is calibrate it. That just means you take that calibration board and place it directly in the center of your hitting strip. Try to align it exactly with the target line or the edges of that hitting strip. Then you go into the settings, click calibrate, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Super easy, and everything was straightforward. Hit one little test chip. Everything's connected, it worked, and I'm good to go. I finished mounting up the wires. They were just loose hanging because I didn't want to do that if I had another issue, but everything was good. And at that point, I got into the software, took some test shots, and was just kind of trying to learn my way through the software. So let me give you a quick tour of the ProTee Labs software. So when you first get in, what I found was super helpful. They've got this help settings where it pretty much highlights every area of the software and tells you how it works. I just turned that back on just now by using this question mark up in the top right corner, so you can always click that and come back to it if you need to. Across the top, you've got different tabs that will open different pages. On the right side, you've got some more information, whether the ball is ready, if you're connected to another game, you've got your settings, your club. Down at the bottom, you've got a whole bunch of what I would call data tiles, so you can see quite a bit at one time. And it kind of just goes through and shows you that. So this is a standard summary page here. You've got side impact, front impact, top impact. You've got the shot video, and then you've got your ball flight, side and top view. Now, all of these pages are editable, which is really, really cool. You can see there's a lock right here, so you can lock it in place, but if you unlock it, I can take any of these tiles and move them around wherever I want. I can make them bigger or smaller, and I can click the plus button over here on the right and choose to add something if I wanted to. So I can completely customize these pages. This is a swing page. You've got club path over here, you've got a ball spin video, and then I added these swing videos here, which I'll talk about in a minute. You got a driving range. So this is the driving range view for ProTee Labs. So really nice ball flight tracer. Graphics look good, tells you the carry, and I can even add some of these boxes here on the range if I wanted to. So really cool if you just want to have a software to practice on the range. Then we've got a video tab. This one is set up for just a big shot of the video replay. Really cool. It shows you kind of the club path on the way in and then the launch direction of the ball on the way out. Obviously, the impact video is a super cool feature. Then you've got the history tab. This is every shot that I've hit so far today, which is a lot of test shots and stuff. You can filter by the person. If you set up more than one, you can filter by the club and just look at those shots, or you can leave them all on there. Those are the standard pages or tabs that come with the ProTee Labs software, but like I said, you can edit them if you want. The other thing you can do is click the add button and create a whole new page, which I did here, and I labeled it with my initials. And this is kind of the page that I wanted to see. I've got top impact here that's got all my club path, side spin, face angle, launch direction, impact location on the face. I've got my swing cameras connected and then shot video. I've got the tripod in front of one of those. Got a ball spin video that's literally a video of the ball spinning. Then I've got the ball spin validator, which is a really cool thing that they showed me at the PGA show. What you're looking at is you can see the logo or parts of the logo on the ball, and it's kind of going one way and then back the other. And the dots should follow the direction that that logo is spinning. And that's how you can validate, did it capture the spin correctly? If the dots are following that logo, it did. I knew that you could add swing cameras because they had them at the PGA show. Whenever I first installed the software, I could not figure out how to do it. Then I realized it must be in a beta version. So I just went into the settings, advanced, and I was able to get into the beta version. I just checked get notified of beta availability, and then I restarted the software. And when I restarted, it asked me if I wanted to download the beta. So I did. And now I can easily just add a swing video right here, swing video, and then you select your camera. The cool thing about this is that they will use any driverless USB cameras. I'm using one that is a Katon camera. I did a review of those on my channel, and then the other one I have over here is one of the Carl's Place cameras from Carl's Place, obviously, which I've also reviewed on the channel. One of each, and they're both working fine. You can go in and set the playback speed. So they're both at 1280 by 720, 120 frames per second. You can set the time before and after impact, and I've got playback speed at 0.3, which is close to a quarter. That's about what you want for 120 frames per second. And the videos are synced. So you can see that they are really nice. And the cool thing is, if I grab one of these and I drag it back and forth, you can see it's doing the same thing to the other one as well. So I can kind of control both at the same time. So got into the ProTee software, figured out how to move everything around, figured out how to connect my swing cameras. The last thing I needed to do was connect to GSPro. Ran into a little bit of an issue, but it was easily fixed. So you can do that. You can go up here to the top right. This kind of looks like a game controller, but you can click on that. It just takes you directly to the settings page where it's at. You could also go to the gear icon for settings, go into game options, and then at the top you select the game. So you've got all these options up here, obviously GSPro, and then click connect. At that point, you want to open GSPro, make sure you have the Open API connection window open as well. You can do that before or after, and just click connect, and then it will connect and you're good to go. You've got some options in here that I really haven't played with yet. You've got an auto connect. You can launch the game automatically when you open the ProTee Labs software. I haven't messed with any of that yet. I did notice the putt speed multiplier, which is pretty cool. So if you feel like the putt speed is too slow or too fast when you're using GSPro, you can dial it up or down right here so that it matches kind of what you think it should feel like. By default, it comes at 1, which is exactly the same speed as ProTee has it. And so I haven't messed with that either, but it's kind of cool to have that option in there. So that's pretty much it. Like I've said, I've gotten this set up this morning. I've been playing with it for a few hours. I played with it at the PGA show. I was really into the software. I love how customizable it is. And I love how compatible everything is. You can kind of use any cameras you want for the most part, connect to GSPro, TGC 2019, whatever software of choice it is. It's just very easy, I would say. So I'm looking forward to diving into this launch monitor more. Make sure to subscribe so that you can see all the ProTee VX videos coming soon. I will be checking out putting more. I will be hopefully comparing it to my GCQuad if I can get that to work, so that we can kind of see how that works. I'll be checking out the club data, all of those things. So definitely, if you're interested in this, make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any of those videos. As always, thanks guys. Leave me a comment down below and I will see you in the next video.